Hey y'all, it's me. It's your girl, the real deal. Oh, you already know. Like, share, and subscribe. What's up, real deal? How y'all doing this evening? Night, noon, morning, wherever it is in your country. I hope you okay? I hope everybody all right, okay? That's good. Now you know what I want to do, right? The real deal has to do a recap on Quaneesha Johnson's murder or self defense trial. Case. Let's put case, okay? Because I just don't understand. See, a woman has to know what she needs to do to get out of what she did, you know, in a situation. Okay. She was in a situation and the choice that she made, she thought it was safe for her kids. Okay. But allegedly, I guess it wasn't because she has to do time for the court consequences and decision that she waited out. Okay. All right. Now, if you remember this young lady, she was in a situation with her boyfriend and they had a they
statements are set to be.
Oh yeah, hold up. She had a sentence and it didn't come out right to me. I think that if a woman take it upon herself, the first thing she does is make a 911 phone call that sounds like this. Listen to this and put yourself in her situation. She made a 911 call. Sounds like this.
Left shortly after. No signs of physical abuse were observed. On the stand now, the 911 records custodian. The first 911 call was made at 10:02 a.m. on November 27th. Let's go into the courtroom.
Okay. She already made 911 call. Y'all just heard him, right? Y'all heard that, right? So the woman did what she had to do. This is not just the average man that won't allegedly, not the heck out you. This one will do it for real. Okay, listen to this. The voice that you listen to is this young lady voice who was charged for murdering her boyfriend, Quaneesha Johnson. They blocking some of it, y'all. Number one, she said he threatened me. Okay, this woman is telling you she threatened you. You still trying to figure out the lane. She said what street she said on. Now she trying to tell you that he threatening her. Okay, that means that she's fearing for her life.
Ms. Brown, were police, are you able to say from the transcripts from your knowledge whether police were dispatched to this location to meet with the caller? Was there ever, you know, contact actually made with the caller prior to police arrival? Are you referring to that transcript to refresh your memory?
Yes. So, repeat your question.
Do you have any indications, communications have any indication in the transcript or otherwise that there was contact made with the caller?
Yes.
And what time was that?
At 10:29 a.m.
Okay, y'all. She called it Hold on for a minute. I don't want to go. I want to keep going back. She called at 10:29. She called at 10. Remember 10:29. Okay.
Yes.
Was there ever, contact actually made with the caller prior to, police arrival? And are you referring to that transcript to refresh your memory?
Yes. Okay. You say. Repeat your question.
Yeah, that was a
Do you
trick
have any
question.
indications, communications have any indication, in the transcript or otherwise that there was contact made with, direct contact made with the caller by an officer?
Yes.
And what time was that?
At 10:29 a.m.
And that would be a direct, contact prior to police arrival.
Yes.
Is that correct? What time was the second call made, if you're able to say?
At 11:04 a.m.
11:04 a.m. 10, 11:04 a.m. She called it at p.m. 10 p.m. 11 a.m. This the second call. This girl is calling the police. All right. 10, 11 p.m. a.m. They block it. How long, yeah? How long, yeah?
Ms. Brown, are you able to determine whether notification was made to police to go ahead and come back to the location?
Yes.
And what time was call number 3?
It's a 3 call, y'all.
At
11:40.
Okay.
Okay, real deal. This is the officer that came out there, okay? What took that officer so long to get there? She did a 10 p.m. call, 11 a.m. call. Then she got 11:40, whatever, 11:40, 11:45 a.m. What is going on with this call to get that police out there? And when the police get out there, the police let him stay. If a woman don't call the police 3 times, well, I tell you what, let's just say if an individual person called 911 3 times for help, and then when the help get there, you tell them to go in the house and work it out. They need to check that officer out. I don't understand why it's this not self-inspect, because after this, it got ugly. So real deal. Y'all need to be honest about this, because this is real life. I want to hear from y'all in the chat. See what she just said. She been sitting there an hour, y'all. This is in Atlanta, but a different county. She been sitting out there for an hour. Come on, y'all. And she threatened for her. She's scared to go in the house. If they haven't, that's what they do, y'all. They take the time getting someone. That girl been waiting there for hours. Y'all heard it. We said 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Okay, turn around. It's going on 12 o'clock. They still ain't got there. If she wanted him to be there, she wouldn't be still like that in her car. All right, let's hear. Let's hear. Come on now. And she tells the dispatch, I've been out here an hour. Come on, y'all. That woman got a newborn boy, and some other age, she said. I mean, come on, baby. You out there clubbing, having a good time. Come on, you need to be in the house with them kids. I ain't saying that you don't have to party. I mean, come on. You should be at home, but you're in the street partying. I don't care if that is the baby daddy, but she's the mother. The clubs ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted y'all to hear that. Because she did make her call, right, y'all? Okay, let's go here to this video. This is Quaneesha.
Begin in our next hour of court TV live. And the case is against this woman. She's the defendant. Her name is Quaneesha Johnson, and she's killed her boyfriend, DeMonte Smith. This incident occurring back in November of last year. The state of Georgia saying it was murder, but Johnson says she shot him in self-defense to protect herself from her boyfriend, who she says was her abuser. For more on the background of this case. Here's Court TV.
Domestic dispute turned deadly after a shot into the chest of her boyfriend, DeMonte Smith. On November 27, 2022, Johnson called the police 3 different times after receiving what she called threatening messages and phone calls from her boyfriend. Once arriving at her home, she also set off a burglar alarm to get police to show up. She eventually flagged down an officer near her home. In front of police and outside of their home, Johnson and Smith engaged in a verbal altercation. Officers then instructed both to go inside, observing no physical abuse. But before returning to her home,
What?
Johnson.
The officer told them, y'all, come on, real deal. Real deal. This is serious. The officer tell them to go back inside. What? Usually, the officer will say, one of y'all have to leave. Either he has to leave or you has to leave. Now, if she got somewhere to go, she should leave her house with her kids. Okay? Regardless if she's a housekeeper. What you think about that? I would have left with my kids. As long as I got my kids out that house, I know later I can get him out that house with the landlord. You know what I mean? But no, they tell them both to go in the house. Y'all go back in the house now. Everything gonna be all right. That's what I hear after I done been threatened. Okay, let's go.
Johnson asked an officer what would happen if she shot her boyfriend in self-defense. That officer allegedly responded she would need to be able to articulate her need for using a weapon in self.
Y'all hear that, boo? Y'all hear that? Now the girl is really scared. Because what I hear is when she asked that question was, in real deal, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Well, since y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it, to protect myself, what'll happen if I shoot him? That's what she really asking. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it. Y'all told him to stay. Y'all told a man that I got a baby by that we stay together and I know what he is capable of doing to me. To come back into this home after I said I was afraid. What would happen if I shot him? And listen, I'm gonna bag it back and let you listen again. Listen, y'all. Hold on. It went back too far. I don't know why this little thing ain't cool.
As a matter of fact, the opening statements are set to begin in our next hour of Court TV Live. And the case is against this woman. She is the defendant. Her name is Quaneesha Johnson. And she is alleged to have shot and killed her boyfriend, DeMonte Smith. This incident occurring back in November of last year. The state of Georgia saying it was murder. But Johnson says she shot him in self-defense to protect herself from her boyfriend, who she says was her abuser. For more on the background of this case, here's Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae.
A domestic dispute turned deadly after Quaneesha Johnson fired a shot into the chest of her boyfriend, DeMonte Smith. On November 27, 2022, Johnson called the police 3 different times after receiving what she called threatening messages and phone calls from her boyfriend. Once arriving at her home, she also set off a burglar alarm to get police to show up. She eventually flagged down an officer near her home. In front of police and outside of their home, Johnson and Smith engaged in a verbal altercation. Officers then instructed both to go inside, observing no physical abuse. But before returning to her home, Johnson asked an officer what would happen if she shot her boyfriend in self-defense. That officer allegedly responded she would need to be able to articulate her need for using a weapon in self-defense. As the officers leave the scene, Johnson is seen grabbing a tire rod and her handgun. A few minutes later, a gunshot is heard from inside the home. Smith is rushed to the hospital and his wound. Several charges include murder, aggravated assault, and child cruelty.
Now, I got a problem with this real deal. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Look now, she has to be charged. Militia murder, aggravated assault, child cruelty. To me, this just me, y'all. She just became a victim of DV. Use abbreviation, y'all. Be professional with use abbreviation. Now she reacted. She called 3 times. She called 3. This is the woman did everything she's supposed to do. 3 times. 10, 11, 11:40. Stood out there an hour. She had to call them back. Somebody didn't do their job. Then when you get there, you tell these two who already been at each other. She got threatening information in her phone. And y'all tell him to go back in the house. I would have said, officer, no. I go. Let me get my kids out in his thought and let me go. I would leave the house. I wouldn't no way in the world I would have went back in that house if my life was threatening like that. I wouldn't have. Now I'm charged for doing it to him. And then I asked the police, what'd happen if she's scared, y'all. This is a frightened woman. What would you have done? I'll give y'all time enough to talk about it. Be honest about this, y'all, because it can happen to a male or a female. Do you see, did this woman did anything wrong? What did she do wrong from the beginning? Because see, they got a baby by each other. Okay. Y'all keep talking about it in the chat for me now. Talk about it now. Because now she charged with something and she got kids.
Since the shot was fired in front of her children, prosecutors believe there was no imminent threat. And once Johnson grabbed the tire rod.
What? Y'all, see, okay, I tell you what. That was a threat. Why y'all don't feel like she got to be hiding and cussing and acting the fool for it not to be a threat? I don't do all that. I'm not about to act no fool and do all that hollering and stuff. She grabbed the tie rod, y'all, and a gun. This ain't no little bitty man, y'all. This is not a little bitty man.
And gun she intended to kill her boyfriend. The defense claims Smith had a history of violence against his girl, prevent from occurring when she took.
Oh, so now we got another problem. They got a history of domestic DV, y'all. Remember that, DV. So it's a history with the Demonte Smith incident, DV incident. This is not safe. It's not a safe regard. They got kids. It's not safe, period. This wasn't handled right to me. This situation that occurred with them two was not handled right with the officer. This is a history call. So what y'all did was allegedly said, I done been out to this house one time. I'm tired of going out here and they go back together. Y'all know how the officers are. Oh, they gonna go back together, but you can't do that. Long as they call you, that don't tell them to go in no house. So this is history, and then do he have any other history with other women with the same situation? He just got out of jail, y'all.
That weapon for protection after police didn't intervene. The defendant plans to testify and explain her actions in front of the jury in an attempt to prove she acted in self-defense.
Now, she's the first person that we have had all the trials we have done, real deal. She is the first individual felt that she didn't do nothing wrong. And what did she do? She takes the stand. Henry Dinkins didn't take the stand. Jonathan didn't take the stand. So this young lady right here took the stand to prevail her innocence. And she still lost. That's why some people don't take the stand. But she took it because she wanted to know what happened. And still got charged for it. Now, what happened to DeMonte? I hate that he got shot. I wish it had been in a leg or arm, but it didn't have to be the chest. But a mind ain't in the right place, y'all. When stuff going on like that, okay? Your mind ain't in the right place. I can't thank for nobody for that. But I wish it had been in an arm, a leg, or something.
And I want to bring in.
Okay, now I don't want to play all that.
Inside the home, Smith is rushed to the hospital and later dies from his wounds. Johnson now faces several charges, including malice, murder, and child cruelty, since the
No, that's okay.
shooting was justified based on that immunity hearing, and now it's going to be in the hands of that jury that was selected here yesterday at the DeKalb County Courthouse.
Gotcha, Julia. So really everything.
So what we're gonna do? So really, everything is now riding on this. Now, I'm gonna. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say that. I just wanna that right there kind of like disappointed me, y'all, in this case like this. This. I, I, I hold on. I just don't get it, y'all. I'm sorry. Here is a woman that did what she's supposed to do. I want y'all to talk before we go to the next video. I want y'all to put down in the chat what did she do wrong? What did she do wrong, y'all? I'm not taking up for her and I'm not taking up for him. I'm just saying, if this were you in a situation, what did this young lady do wrong? What did she do wrong, real deal? So he have to be put bruises on her and slap her in the face, black eyes, and they got to do all that for things. The law need to change, y'all. There should be some changes within the law. One of them supposed to be able to walk out of there. It got to be some changes, y'all, made in the law. Because that means that the law failed this girl and failed her kids. But what the law did was allegedly blamed her, what she did, and her kids. Let's look at this. Listen to the judge.
And even though the jury did not hear the 911 tape of the previous domestic violence incident between Mr. Smith and another female, the court can consider That, along with the police report and disturbing photographs of abuse to your minor child by the victim in this case. On the day of the incident, Ms. Johnson, I believe that you took all the necessary steps to ensure your safety after Mr. Smith had threatened to inflict bodily harm upon you. And it does not matter that you stayed out all night, or even if you stayed out
That's right.
for a
It
week
don't matter.
and leaving your children with whomever. That does not constitute that somebody would threaten you with serious bodily injury. Ms. Johnson, you called the alarm company, you called local law enforcement, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And when law enforcement arrived, they allowed you, the 2 people in this situation, to go into the home unescorted without any cooling off period, which resulted in the loss of Mr. DeMonte Smith and resulted in your conviction for voluntary manslaughter. So when considering the aggravating and mitigating circumstances of this case, the court is required to impose a sentence that is sufficient, but not greater than necessary. So Ms. Johnson, I will sentence you as follows. As to voluntary manslaughter, I will sentence you to 20 years to serve 10 years in confinement. The first 5 years of those 10 years to be served in prison, and the remaining 5 years to be served as home confinement. The remaining 10 years of the 20-year sentence will be served on probation. Special conditions of the 5 years of home confinement is that you must be fully employed. You can only leave your house for work, medical appointments, school, and for minor children, school appointments, minor children's therapy appointments, and minor children's school-sponsored activities. The hours of your work, school, and medical are only to be between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., and there is to be no one at your home at any time during the duration of your sentence who has a felony conviction. As to count 3, the aggravated assault, it will merge into count 2, voluntary manslaughter by operation of law. As to count 4, aggravated assault, I will sentence you to 10 years to serve, to run concurrent with count 2. As to count 5, the possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, I will sentence you to 5 years to serve consecutive suspended. As to count 6, cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, with the victim being Nyla Clark, I will sentence you to 12 months of probation to run concurrent with count 2. Special conditions of probation is that the minor child is to see a licensed therapist, counselor, or psychologist twice a month for 12 months, and that you are to attend and successfully complete parenting classes for 12 months. As to count 7, cruelty to children in the 3rd degree with Nuri Clark, I will sentence you to 12 months on probation. Conditions of probation, special conditions of probation are that that minor child also is to see a licensed therapist, counselor, or psychologist twice a month for 12 months, and that you are to complete parenting classes. I will sentence you under the First Offender Act, and I need to advise you, Ms. Johnson, of your rights post-conviction. Ms. Johnson, you have the right to seek post-judgment relief from your conviction of the crimes of voluntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. By either making a motion for a new trial in this court and/or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you want to file a motion for a new trial or appeal, then you would need to file the said motion or notice of appeal with the Clerk of Superior Court of this county, DeKalb County, within 30 days. You may want to more fully discuss this with your attorney. If a motion for new trial is made and the court denies it, you will have 30 days from the filing of the order of denial in which to file with the clerk of court your notice of appeal. Ms. Johnson, you have a right to have an attorney represent you on the motion for new trial and the first level of direct appellate review. And if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court will provide you an attorney and a transcript of your trial at no cost. Ms. Johnson, in a felony, you have a period of 4 years from the date of your sentence in this court. Becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. And with the misdemeanors, you have a period of 1 year from the date of your sentence in this court becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. Do you have any questions for the court, Ms. Johnson?
I don't.
Okay.
Judge, would you explain to Ms. Johnson what it means to be sentenced on the first offender?
So, Ms. Johnson, under the first offender statute for your sentence, so in this matter, the state of Georgia versus Quaneesha Johnson, the defendant has requested a sentence under First Offender Act. The court has approved that request and will hold adjudication and will hereby impose the following terms under the First Offender Act, which I have placed on the record. Ms. Johnson, if you as a defendant sentenced under the first offender violate the terms of this sentence, the court may enter adjudication of guilt and proceed to sentence you to the maximum sentence provided by law in this matter. And I believe that is the maximum sentence would be 20 years to serve in custody for voluntary manslaughter, up to 20 years to serve in custody for count 4, the aggravated assault, 12 months in custody for counts 6 and 7, separately for the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and 5 years to serve consecutive for the possession of the firearm during the commission of a felony. However, if you are so sentenced, you will be, however, in this case, you will receive credit for the time that you have served. And if you successfully complete your sentence under the First Offender Act, you will not have a conviction for the crimes in this case. I believe I explained.
That's in your. And then I just want to make sure Ms. Johnson gets credit for the time she had served when she was initially arrested, and then the rearrest on a grand jury arrest warrant.
Okay. Do you know those dates, Mr. Sterling?
I know it's approximately 62 days.
I believe that's correct, Judge, and I can send Ms. Green the exact dates.
Okay.
And one more motion from the defense, Your Honor. We are going to move forward with an appeal in this case, so I would request at this time that Ms. Johnson be granted an appeal bond and be allowed to stay out on the current conditions, the current bond she has. The current bond conditions and bond that she's posted be allowed to stay out on an appeal bond pending our appeal of the verdict and sentence in this case.
What are the current conditions of her bond?
She's got a $40,000 bond that was initially set on the arrest of malice, murder, and the cruelty to children. And then she, Your Honor, had her post an additional $5,000 bond on the grand jury arrest warrant. And currently, Judge, the initial conditions, and I don't think they've been modified yet, but we sort of consented to it, was that she could be reached. Initially, she couldn't be talked to her children, the ones who were witnesses to the incident, but we kind of agreed that she should be reunited with her children. I believe those were the only conditions of the initial bond.
I did not place her on house arrest.
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, did the state be heard on the appellate bond?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would object to the appellate bond in this case. Specifically, the jury found her guilty not only of a crime, but of a taking of another person's life, of killing of another person's life in this case. And I understand Mr. Sterling's argument is that she should be reunited with her children, but Mr. Smith will never be reunited with with his children. And I understand Mr. Sterling's argument that they are going to file an appeal in this case. But the jury, as it stands now, has found her guilty of voluntary manslaughter. So the state would be asking for remand to start today, as it stands.
What was the process?
Yeah, I apologize. My mic will mute. Let that lady out to go take care of her kids. She didn't do nothing to her kids. I don't even know why they saying it. Cause what happened is she told the kids to go in the room, and kids hard head, they want to know if their mama okay. They came out the room. She didn't do nothing to her kid. He don't did something to her son before. He don't hit her son before. How would she do an appeal? She don't need to be in this situation like that. I mean, I know if it's wrong and right is right. Y'all, what y'all think? What y'all talking about? Let me see what the chat talking about. Y'all got to be talking, because all of us don't been in a relationship before. Or have we not? This is his mom, yeah. This is mom. Of course, she gonna be upset. That's her son.
I will allow Ms. Johnson to remain out on the bond that she already has for, as you file an appellate. Well, I will allow her to remain out on the bond as she file an appeal in this case. However, there are going to be additional conditions to that bond in terms of she would need to be on house arrest during the pendency of this. Conditions of the bond are that she can only leave to and from for medical appointments for herself or with the children, and for therapy for the children during the pendency of this, as well as Mr. Shaw, I understand the state's position that the state is opposed to any appellate bond in this case, but given that the court is going to allow her to remain out on bond during the pendency of the appeal, are there any special conditions that the state would like the court to add?
I believe, Your Honor, we would like Ms. Johnson to remain in the state of Georgia, remain on house arrest, and we would defer to the court regarding any other conditions, and no firearms or weapons.
Obviously, no firearms, no weapons, no contact with anyone with a felony conviction, and she must remain in the state of Georgia during the pendency of this appeal.
And I know Ms. Johnson's actively looking for employment. She lost the job she had when the state arrested her on the grand jury arrest warrant. So the only other thing I would ask, Judge, is that she be allowed to go to job interviews and seek employment while she's out on bond.
That's his mama leaving out. His mama leaving out. But you know what? As the mother, you know how your kids are. You know how your son is, because you talk to him all the time. Don't be upset with this girl. She got to take care of them babies. She was taking care of them babies. Boy.
And obviously to meet with her attorney.
Yes, I will allow her to do that. Any job interviews would need to be between the hours of 8 a.m. to between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Yes, Your
It might
Honor.
be through Friday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else?
Nothing from the state.
Okay.
I'm glad for her. I'm glad for Quaneesha in this situation. I am really glad for her in this situation. I hate this situation happen like that. Y'all tell me what y'all think, real deal. Be honest about this situation. It's going to be some good things coming up on the update of this case with Quaneesha Johnson. I want y'all, is this a murder case or is it self-defense? Which one y'all think it is? Let's think logic, y'all, and real. Let's keep it real, okay? Let's talk about it. I hate that this situation even happened like that. She did everything she's supposed to do, y'all. Now we the judge and we the jury right now. We the jury, okay? We the jury. She guilty for, shooting him in the chest. But when you shoot, when you upset, you mentally gone. This man taller than this girl. So I'm not gonna, that's the part about the shooting. Y'all talk about it. I don't want to say nothing else. I'm always talking. I need to hear from y'all. This your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. Hey, y'all need to get in this chat box. Come on, y'all. Because y'all been doing good so far. Y'all are the realest crowd chat people that I ever seen. Put yourself in this situation, male or female. I'm out.